Hi, I'm April Mullen, the Director of Strategic Insights at SparkPost, and I am so excited to be joined here today by our friends at Career Builder. We have Samir and Gary. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, thanks for having us, April. I'm Gary Grimes. I'm Senior Product Director of Consumer Product at Career Builder. Colleague of mine is Samir.
Hi, my name is Samir Sharma. I'm the engineering lead at Career Builder. I've been with Career Builder for about 5 years now, and I've been responsible for all of our email and messaging platforms.
Perfect. Well, I wanted to chat with you about your team at Career Builder. I know Career Builder is a massive organization. Can you guys talk about the team that you're on and what each of you does at Career Builder?
Sure. Actually, Career Builder is maybe not as big as you think in terms of personnel. We just, we make ourselves look really good. So, April, I'm glad you started with this question. I've been with Career Builder about 4 years now. When I started, we're a really siloed company. About 2 years ago, our new CEO came in and really helped us break down those silos. At that time, we had 5 different email service providers, a couple of in-house tools, and what our charge was to really consolidate. And Irina helped us, consolidate, converge in all the right places. So, while email messaging team, Samir's team, has grown recently to assume more ownership beyond just consumer email, but also the shared products and services across the Career Builder organization. It's actually 60% less in terms of human resources on that team versus 2 years ago. And, that's why I wanted to invite Samir to join me on this is, so he can kind of speak to how we do more with less at Career Builder, how we have a big presence and deep engagement with our consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we try to focus on, especially on the engineering side, is definitely the motto of, work smarter, not harder. Because obviously with less personnel, you don't always necessarily have the manpower to kind of go through and do things manually. Since then, we've tried to really take advantage of certain tools like Iterable, where we're basically on the engineering side, once we get the platform set up, then it allows product to enable themselves to do A/B testing, try out new campaigns and things like that, without necessarily having to have that wait time on the engineering side, and really, take that step to move forward, and also just take the opportunity to see where we can really build applications and services that'll work across the entire ecosystem. So that way we can just reuse pieces of application that we have without having to rebuild everything from scratch every time.
Wow, that's awesome. You guys are doing a ton with a team that's really efficient, and you've really scaled the business with all of your efforts. That's super cool and inspiring to probably a lot of people that are listening. So I wanted to ask you, clearly we're in a situation right now with the global pandemic, a recession. What's going on in the job market, and what is Career Builder doing to respond to that?
Yeah, thanks, April. I mean, this is the lens that we all filter our lives through now. So this is obviously really huge for us, and it really starts with what we've done recently to unveil our new Career Builder tagline, which is "We're building for you." And we wanted to do that to really make our mission clear. In this time. So, and by you, we mean, both employers who are, really struggling right now, and as well as job seekers, certainly, all of which, everyone here on this call, of course, is a job seeker ultimately. So, after all, Career Builder is a marketplace, and it's meant to connect great employers with, the best candidates to fill these open roles. Sadly, of course, our marketplace is in turmoil right now. We've have over 40 million Americans who are unemployed right now. 1 in 4 people have filed for unemployment. It's about 2 million, I believe, last week. These are unprecedented numbers. So, what it's forced us to do is be smart, do more with less. But, before we even discuss our roadmap, we had to pause everything and reassess the entire roadmap. As a result, we made several key pivots. One is our new COVID-19 Job Support Center for job seekers, which you can find directly from our homepage. And it reframes the job search through the lens, as I mentioned before, of the current reality. The reality is that there's a lot of industries right now that have slowed down hiring that can't be done remotely. Certainly, there are many that are adjusting to the remote atmosphere, and we're trying to solve for all of those challenges that our employers are having as well as candidates. So through the Job Support Center, we have made it a lot easier to find the companies who are hiring, and we're beefing up the ability to filter and sort jobs by work from home, gig work, as well as volunteer jobs, which our customers have demanded. A couple of other things is we've stood up recently our transition services for those employers, our customers, who have had to lay off employees. Unfortunately, they want to do right by those employees and give them resources to land on their feet, to build up a quality resume and get the attention of other employers who are hiring right now. This service is really critical to build, again, to our mission to build for our consumers.
I know you reached out to us recently about some deliverability issues, and you knew that the root of that was how you collect and build preferences and profiles. And so you went through this whole re-architecting of the end user and recruiter experience. I'd love for you to share what you did there, because I think it's a really inspiring story for a lot of marketers who might be struggling with the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, deliverability issues aren't, anything fun to talk about, right? But, I think, we did really turn it around and turn it into a key benefit for us at Career Builder. So, we did two things. And as you mentioned, we did a lot of work around our job seeker candidate preferences. But also, when we really dug into the data, we understood that recruiters are awesome at what they do. Email marketers and deliverability experts, they are not. So, we realized that we needed to build our tooling to help them kind of in the background without them having to worry about those things. So, let's first kind of talk about those architectural changes we made with respect to how recruiters and job seekers interact through our platform in our marketplace. And we'll get to a moment on how that impacted our job seeker contact preference center. So, we completely rebuilt the architecture with regard to how candidates interact with recruiters and vice versa. Samir, can you talk about the reputation tiers that we set up, as well as how we leverage Spark Post sub-accounts?
Sure. Absolutely. So one of the really important things that we had to do on behalf of the customers was to help identify for themselves, who basically had good sending habits and who didn't. We kind of did this in kind of two split ways. The first way that we did this was we set up within SparkPost multiple tiered IP pools. And what we mean by this is we separated the different companies that use Career Builder to a good, okay, and not so good sending tiers. So we took a look at their sending behaviors, and if a customer had good sending habits, lots of opens, lots of clicks, lots of deliverability, they went into the better tier. And those that didn't kind of moved down. Some of the reasons that people move down, they might be spammy, their content might not be too good. But the thing is, they don't necessarily know that. And when we send everybody together, it's hard to tell who's doing that and who's not, which kind of comes into the second part of what we did, which was also move everybody onto their own sending account through SparkPost. By doing this, by assigning each company that goes through us their own sub-account, again, we can granularly pull out and look and see each individual customer's open rates, click rates, things like that a lot easier, look at their send counts. And when we do this, again, now we can go back to them with better constructive feedback on how they can improve, because again, as Gary mentioned, they're not necessarily email marketers or sending domain experts or things like that. So this is how we can get more information on a granular level so that we can go back and help our customers to do better at what they do best already.
That's amazing. I love that story so much. It's tremendously helpful to your end client, end users, and it's really helping everyone to more efficiently leverage your platform. So I want to talk about what you guys were up to last year. I know you spent the better part of last year building a new subscription model, and I'd love for you to share what that was all about and some of the tactics that you executed as part of that project.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really super excited about this one. Samir and his team really knocked it out of the park on this. It was a huge body of work, but it was totally necessary. Like our preference in our career builder was much like those that you've seen on other websites, 5 check boxes, all email, and, just a kind of a generic experience, honestly. And, what we wanted to do is recognize, again, we're building for our consumers, we're building for our customers as well. And, our customers demand multi-channel, not just email. They demand, push notification as well as SMS. We want to reach people on the devices that they want to interact with. So, I challenged Samir and his team to, build a really robust subscription model. And it was meant to serve really granular cases so that consumers kind of build their own experience. Job seeking is a difficult task. And, when you give the consumer, the job seeker, all of the controls to say, here's where I want an email, here's the time I want to email, the frequency I want it, the device I want it on, the content I want inside of it, they can really move those dials to calibrate their job search exactly how they want it. And so one other piece of that was that we wanted to allow job seekers to save those preferences, even if they're not actively looking for a job. So, that's a big challenge for Samir and his team, but he knocked it out of the park. So, Samir, could you talk a little bit about, how you set that up with a database and the schema to support all those super granular preferences I asked you for?
Yeah, so a part of that is leveraging new technology and things like that as it comes out. So again, when we're trying to look at how to do right by the job seeker here and giving them what they want, when they want, as they're asking for it, we had to basically kind of take a step back and relook at how in this case data is stored. Traditionally it would be a new row for a new subscription for every single one. Eventually it becomes not practical. Because if you have lots of customers and things like that, your data set becomes huge, and it takes a long time to then get that data back. It can become confusing and things like that. So what we did in this case is we leverage new JSON data types the databases can store, which wasn't even an option before. And by doing this, basically it allowed us to again get that granular detail of do you want email, do you want push, do you want SMS, and allow us to store all of that information in the same place. And not just that, but it allows us to basically also in the forward, continue to expand on the same model. Look at it at a company by company basis. CareerBuilder has thousands of companies that we help represent, and for eventually the job seeker to be able to do it on a granular level of like, these are the people that I'm interested in, these are the people that I want to hear from, this is how often I want to hear from them. And again, as Gary mentioned, if you find a job, great, we did our work. But it doesn't mean that you want all the work that you did to go into getting the information that you want to be gone forever. So if I find a job and I say, okay, I'm good for now, but you know what? A year from now, I might be looking again, depending on the type of industry you're in. Great. 1 year from today, you're automatically going to start getting those same types of email, obviously with new fresh data, catered exactly how you want it and how you set it up in the first place so that you don't have to do all that work all over again. So these are kind of things that we looked at kind of be most important around subscriptions to really take care of the job seeker so that they could, really pull the best out of the website that they can.
That is so awesome. Like, what a heavy lifting project. But I think this shows just how powerful it can be to have the business side or marketing side folks really synced with the technical people. And I feel like you guys have definitely shown what that dream team can look like by working together on these projects. So thank you for sharing that. Segueing into, what's next. What are you guys most excited about in 2020 and beyond? Like, what's next for you at CareerBuilder?
April, I don't know if we have a week or more to talk about that because we could, but there's just too many things to name, really. Samir and his team, he actually has a partner team in that really focuses on message center and that, close connection between candidates and and customers as well. But there's just a big roadmap in those areas. I do want to name a few things that I'm most excited about, and I probably can't talk about some of these too much, but I can give you some little hints here and there. So, I'm really excited about an AMP project that's coming up. It was a hackathon that our team did, myself and Samir, and certainly several other team members. We had a lot of help from Isaac Kim and Darren Smith at SparkPost, our reps there, who have always been amazing. We've had just a great relationship. They're really an extension of our team. That we treat them that way, for better or worse sometimes. But they really help deliver, as well as our partners at Iterable and Ragnarok, our agency that does a lot of the tactical work around optimization, split testing, and so on in Iterable. So I can't say too much more about the AMP project. We'll just say it's going to really streamline the apply experience. So that's excited about that one. We're also doing some really, Samir alluded to this a moment ago too. We're doing really exciting stuff around the thousands of companies who use our site to find great candidates. Many of those companies have career sites of their own under their own branding. And so we're looking at a lot of our campaigns, and in the theme of doing more with less, we're able to kind of white label some of our campaigns for our career site customers, or which we call Talent Network, and doing a lot of work around a kind of follow company model that you might be familiar with in the kind of social networking space. So that's really exciting. Look for more enhancements there as well. You can definitely look out for a lot more around profiles. So as we continue to build for you, we are making our candidate profile very robust, and we're pulling all of that candidate data into Iterable and delivering emails and push notifications as well as SMS, multi-channel strategy there containing all of your candidate data, so you get a truly personalized experience. Something I'd say with the team a lot is like we always have a target of one, right? Our target audience is really always one, because we want it to be a truly personalized experience. There is no one size fits all. So a lot more around very granular experience for the candidate. Also, we have a lot of stuff going on in the consumer web and mobile apps, in addition to the email space, and we're all pulling through that candidate data throughout the ecosystem, not just into email and other channels. Finally, I guess, there's one other kind of teaser I'd like to put out there for any users of Career Builder or people who would like to stop by and register in Career Builders. We've got a big play coming up around upskilling, and it's going to really fulfill the promise of the Career Builder name. I can't say more than that, but I'm really excited about that, and I think in the next several months that'll be something that you'll be hearing our name about in a very good way soon.
It's so exciting. I cannot wait to see what you all come out with. I'll be watching with bated breath on what comes next. And I am personally a huge fan of AMP. I know Iterable has resources on that, a webinar that was done recently, and SparkPost does as well. So check it out. I'm all about AMP. Very excited about it.
AMP is really exciting. Yes.
It is so cool. It's so cool. I think it's going to change how email will perform. I mean, it's collapsing the conversion funnel, and it's putting that call to action or that conversion right within the email. So I'm pretty pumped about it. So I'm glad to see you guys are going to be doing that.
And also, even to tie it back into a little bit more what we're talking about, again, even subscriptions, allowing people to fine tune things from AMP through the inbox, is something that's another goal. So all these things as new things roll out, it's pretty exciting.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Gary and Samir, for chatting with me today. And thank you to all of you who attended our session. If you'd love to follow up with us, please leave a message in the chat, or you can visit us in the networking lounge. Thanks so much.